Welcome to my very first Visionary Huddle. I am Chanel Renee, your guide, your teacher, your multi-dimensional oracle who I plan on hosting these Visionary Huddles at least, I'm going to say 2 to 4 times a month just to stay in flow. I want to set the intention that I'll be here weekly, but who knows, right? The purpose of this Visionary Huddle is because I want a space where we commit to exploring what this new world, this new paradigm, and this new earth, what we're building here. Because if I'm being honest, we've already arrived. Now it's about doing the work to build this world, right? And to be the change that we want to seek. So, before we get started, I just want us to take a few deep breaths together and um we'll pull a card to get some energy flowing in the room. And if you are not a fan of oracle cards, then you can skip this part. But definitely want you to stay for the breath. So, before we get started and we jump into this visionary huddle, we want to ground our energy and be present in the now. So, let's do that together. And what this looks like is 3 intentional deep breaths that we take together as a collective to ground us into the space and into the now, because in the now is where we'll get the most play done. And by play, I mean work. So they don't mean the same things, but play, exploring, discovering, using our imagination is what will take place here in this space. So let's take those breaths together. Deep inhale in. Exhale out slowly. So we'll take a deep inhale in, we'll hold it, and slowly release. Deep inhale in. That felt good. All right. So we're going to be pulling our card from this light activation gateway. Excuse me, gateway of light activation. That breath work must have did its thing. Okay, got me coughing, clearing my throat. Okay, so if this is not a part of or doesn't align with your practice, feel free to skip this part. God, Spirit, Source, give me a message for this visionary huddle. Now, baby, I don't know how to say this word, but it says Order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek. If you know how to say it, just put it in the comments, girl. It's fine. Embraced by light, mission uncovered. Don't give up. Mission uncovered really stuck out to me. Mission uncovered. Mission uncovered. So the message in this card says, you've learned so much and are now recognizing that all the great lessons and all the great experiences and challenges have brought you. Let me say that again. You've learned so much and are now recognizing all the great lessons and experiences and challenges have brought you. The order of Melchizedek is coming to you today to encourage you to continue on this path and not give up. Even in moments of darkness and fear, there is the opportunity for you to shine your light. If you are feeling overwhelmed, it is imperative for you to know that you are not alone. Oof. Light is with you and within you. By invoking spiritual support and communal support, you will be able to muster up the strength and the courage and the focus you need to surmount whatever challenges you face. What a beautiful message for where we are heading. What a beautiful message to start us off on this huddle. And I definitely think it resonates. So let's jump in to the huddle. The title of this huddle is Stepping Out of the Matrix Together. And I know you saw that in the title, and I know that's probably what brought you here, but we're stepping out of the matrix together, bringing us back to our card. We're stepping out of this matrix together. Mission uncovered. It makes sense now. We're stepping out of the matrix together. So we've grounded. And in the chat, I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. And if you don't feel like sharing at the moment, just share whenever you feel called. But as you are in this space, I want you to think about, what are you willing to let go and release today? And in turn, what are you willing to allow in? What are you willing to let go and release today? But what are you also willing to allow and receive and let in? So before we get started with this huddle, stepping out of the matrix together, I'd like to give you two angel numbers that you will use over the course of the next week or when we gather again, that will serve as confirmation for you, and you can affirm yourself, right, as you move forward. And if anyone feels called, drop these affirmations in the comments. So the two angel numbers that I'll give you, you will use them as confirmations and affirmations until we gather again. Okay. And when these numbers come up, when they come to you, I want you to think about these affirmations if you can remember them. And I'll share some screensavers with you if you want to save it to your phone. But when these numbers come to you, think about what you're doing, where you are, and what you may have been thinking about. Or what have you asked for clarity, right? What you sought clarity around. And these numbers will serve you that way as confirmation again of this message of where you are and what you are doing in your path, right? So the first number, 000. The affirmation to go with this is, whenever I see 000, I know that I am fearless in my pursuit of growth and expansion. 777. Whenever I see 777, I know that I am a magnet for miracles and blessings. You will also be able to see combinations, right, of these numbers. So if you see combinations, you say, whenever I see sevens and zeros, I know that everything is unfolding as it should. So again, I'll let you know how you can access those screensavers. I may put them in the bio for you to tap in. They'll be free. You can save them to your phone, and that way you can remember the these angel numbers and what you're speaking when you see them. Okay, they all align with this message, right? The trusting your pursuit, trusting your expansion, the being a magnet for miracles and blessings, right? And knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. So, I recently dropped a blog that was about the fool's first steps, right? Deciding to embrace the unknown. So, right now, I'm creating and playing with a project that is inspired by the major arcana card Zero, the Fool. The Fool card is not just about new beginnings, it is about trust, it is about surrender, it is about the willingness to leap without seeing the full path. Right now, I find myself at the edge of a cliff, flying into the unknown. So this card really resonates for me, like deeply. I recognize that I can feel both excited and terrified about what's to come for me. We've all heard the same: do it scared. So, speaking of fear, what would you say that you're afraid of right now? And drop those answers in the chat for me. This is the time where you get to sharing in the chat. And when you see someone shares, no matter the time that you view this video, I want you to respond and lend some support. So, again, I ask, what would you say you are afraid of right now? Are you afraid to let go of something, of someone, of your job? Are you afraid to move on a recent decision of yours? Are you afraid to make a choice, right? Are you afraid of what happens when you let go of control and just decide to trust yourself and trust your path? So, again, this is the part of the video where you drop something you fear in the chat so that we can bring awareness to it. Because this is the way that we'll be able to move beyond the fear. You put it in front of you so that we can move on from it, so that we can use that wisdom to transform ourselves. Shameless plug. Around this fear, I offer clarity, reflective clarity readings. You can find the link in the description for those. They are $22. So tap in. And if you can't pay the 22, just let me know and you can pay what you can. Right? So as we share our fears, we're not only bringing awareness to them, but we're creating space for them to detach from us and within us, to be released and transformed, right? That's that's the whole releasing the past and embracing the new, right? This is the alchemy of that. We have to understand that the mind craves certainty. So most times it wants us to make the safest move that it knows to be true through experience. I'm going to say that one more time because I feel like y'all might have missed that. Our mind craves certainty. So most times our mind is going to make a decision based off the safest move that it has experienced. So that means that your mind is going to make the safest moves based on past experiences. So understanding this, right, allows us to move out of these so-called limited, safe ways of being to a more expansive way of being. So that is the only reason why I'm having you drop those fears in the chat, because you're releasing that, right? You're releasing that energy. Put that energy out there. This visionary huddle, this visionary space is vulnerability, right? And if you're not okay with that, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Share if you feel called. So, yes, our mind wants us to make the safest choice off of what we've already experienced. And if you want to do something new, we got to make new decisions, new choices, new ways of being. You follow me? The Fool card teaches us that the journey unfolds one step at a time. And each time we touch the ground, we must know that we are supported. Okay, that's one of the things I want you to remember as you move on and you see those angel numbers. Know that you are supported. So you can trust the path. You can trust where you're going, no matter how messy it looks, no matter which decision you make, as long as you're making that with intention and it's aligning with your greatest, highest good, then you can trust where you're going. So let's try something together. These huddles aren't just about me talking, right? They're about your participation, your involvement, right? So we're going to do something together, okay? This is the time where I want you, I don't care about you commenting 1 time, 20 times under this video. This is interactive. And honestly, I can't wait to do them live. If you want this live, also share that in the chat, because I think that would be great encouragement for me on this journey. Okay. So here's what we're going to do together, right? What would happen if you moved to the other side of the fear that you shared, or the fear that came to mind when we talked about fear? What would happen if you faced it completely? Almost as if you held it in your hand and you decide to really look at it and face it completely. What do you think would happen? Let's create an affirmation, and we're going to take that affirmation based on your fear, and we're going to pair it with the action that would allow you to move forward today. Okay, are you ready? So we're going to use this. Even though I fear, insert your fear, I trust that I am supported and moving forward with excitement and courage. So that's the affirmation. That's step one. Even though I fear, I trust that I am supported and moving forward with excitement and courage. So even though I'm scared, I'm going to show up with excitement and courage. I'm going to be excited about doing something that scares me in this moment. All right. So now that we've spoken this affirmation, right, let's truly embody it. So, what is one step that you can take, no matter how small, that will move you forward in the opposite direction of that fear? So, what is something you can do? Is it, for me, it will be, I'm going to go live later tonight and talk about the visionary huddle. No matter one person, no person, 50 people show up, I'm just going to be on live and I'm going to talk about my visionary huddle. So even though I'm scared that no one's going to show up to my live, I'm going to do it with excitement and courage. Even though I'm scared of rejection or abandonment, I'm going to show up in these online spaces, share my creative expression and my art and my work and my play, and I'm going to do so with courage and excitement. In my blog, The Fool's First Steps, that means that you have to move. So action, momentum, no matter how small, how big, it's required. There are several factors that stop us from moving. And let me also say that rest is movement. Okay. We can argue about that another time. Rest is movement. Rest is momentum. Rest is the gathering of your energy. I just posted a video about that, right? That is also momentum. So there are several factors that can stop us from making that movement, though, creating that momentum, staying in momentum. I've been there before. So fear of movement and motion can be tied to your emotions, your experiences, and false beliefs. And we kind of talked about the mind craving the safest option based on the past. So your fear could be tied to your emotions, your past experiences, and false beliefs based on past experience and emotions, right? I.e., your fear of failure. You are basing you are afraid to take a step and make a choice because you are fearful that you will fail at it because you failed in the past. And in the past, you saw that failure as a moment to stop because you thought that something was wrong with you and wrong with what you did. And it was shameful for you. So you never moved again because you were scared. Ooh, that brings me to point two. Another factor that will stop us from moving: shame. Shame of being new at something, shame of starting over. It's okay to be the new kid on the block. To me, you have the best advantage to do something new, to do something different, to not be like the rest of them, right? To offer something new. We need something new. The next factor, you lack faith, you lack trust. You don't trust yourself. You ain't got faith in nothing. you don't trust the decisions that you make, it stops your movement. The next factor would be holding on to the expectation of fear. That means you're bracing yourself for failure, you're bracing yourself for fear, thinking that bad things will always happen. You also think that you need more to start. Make sure my mic is still on. You think that you need more to start, or you think you need to be in a perfect setting, perfect environment to start, when that's just not true. You're waiting on perfect conditions when it's never going to be the perfect time. You know what? Let me take that back. Control Alt Delete. Now is the perfect time. All right. So now that we know these factors, right, it becomes easier to bring awareness to look at what's stopping your movement, what's stopping your motion, what's stopping your momentum, what's stopping you from taking your first steps into something new, right? And through that, our transformation, our motion, our movement, our momentum, our journey, this new journey, it can start, right? So, as we wrap up today's huddle, I want you to remember that stepping into the unknown is a courageous act. And the Fool card, right, is here to remind us that growth happens when we embrace the mystery and when we trust the process, that no matter how uncomfortable you feel, it is safe for you to move. So before you leave, take a moment to reflect, whether to yourself or in the chat, and tell me what's one thing you can do today to take your first step at overcoming the fear that came up during this time together. I mean, it can be as small as writing it down, or you can make a bold decision about your life that you've been putting off. You can just be bold and say, I'm not doing that anymore, or instead of doing that, I'm doing this, right? Either way, you can share it in the chat, right? Or you can keep it to yourself, whichever way. The most important thing for me in this moment for you is that you look at the fear that came up or whatever came up, and you are aware about what is stopping your movement and what's your resistance to the first step. Because the movement, the momentum is key on moving forward. I mean, if you're not moving, we're not going nowhere. So the movement, no matter how big, no matter how small, that is the important thing that we're focusing on. And through this huddle, I wanted to bring awareness to what's causing resistance. And if you have taken a first step, why haven't you taken the next one? Right? And if you don't even know where you're heading at, then you definitely need to book that clarity reading. So I want to affirm you before you leave. I am moving forward with courage, with trust, and an open heart, because it's okay for your heart to lead the way. Knowing that I am supported on this journey. And I'll say that again. I am moving forward with courage and trust and an open heart, knowing that I am supported on this journey. So, in the next 7 days or to the next time that we gather, we are all going to take one step forward. I'm speaking this over us. In the next 7 days of you watching this huddle, until the next time we gather or the next 7 days, whichever, we are all going to take one step forward. We're going to face the unknown with excitement, knowing that each part of this journey is unfolding for the betterment of us. So before you close, I want to extend an invitation to anybody who feels called to dive deeper, to play bigger, to explore this visionary path with me. I invite you to come back into another huddle, but I'm also creating a visionary lab where a small group of us will get together and we will intentionally do this work. The space will just be guided by me. It will be donation based. And we'll be doing this visionary huddles and deep work and projects to move us forward into this new earth, right? I am, again, Chanel Renee. I'm a multidimensional oracle world builder. I'm a part of the leadership that will assist in ushering in and making way and taking form of this new earth and new paradigm. And the Visionary Lab is my way of ensuring that, at least on my side of things, that I am working in collective and collaboration and in connection with other visionaries to bring in and usher in this new paradigm. So, with that being said, I'll be hosting these visionary huddles again every 2 to 4 times a month. It is my goal to do this weekly, and I would like to convert to doing it live. So let me know if you're interested in that in the chat. But I want to thank you for sharing your energy and attention and focus with me today and sharing in the chat. I look forward to doing way more visionary huddles, and I hope that you received love today. I hope that you were activated today.